Hi, everyone. Welcome. This is Real Talk with Coach Sherri, and this channel is about workforce development, career readiness, entrepreneurship, and of course, real life, real issues, and real talk. If you are new to this channel and you've been on the fence or you've been back and forth and you're just not sure, I want to invite you to hit that subscribe button as well as the bell for notifications so that you will be notified when I upload new videos and when I go live. Please be sure as you come into the building to hit the thumbs up. Give this live a thumbs up. I am excited to have you here. I am super excited for my special guest tonight. Also, join us in the chat, please. Tell us what you are thinking as we go through this conversation. If you have any questions, let us know. This is a conversation that my special guest and I will be having. But if you have anything you want to share, please be sure to leave it in the chat. This is a great networking opportunity as well. I always have great people that come and join in on my lives. So if you're not familiar with one of the channels, write their name down and check them out after the live completes. Also, I hope you have your pen and paper ready to capture all the nuggets that are going to be dropped tonight. I promise you, you guys are going to be so blessed from the message and the nuggets and the information that my guest is going to share. I am going to go to the chat right now and greet everyone as you enter the room. We have Vernell Livingston. I appreciate you for being here. I know that you said that you may have to leave a little bit earlier. I'm trying to open this up on my phone so that, let me turn it down. Let me turn it down so I can read the messages from my phone because I can't see it too well on here. I am using my iPad. I'm glad I did the test run yesterday. I see Edward Smart is in the building. Thank you, Edward, for being here. So we have Vernell from California. We have Edward Smart from Hawaii. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Thank you all so much. And we have Sade Princess. Beneficial Knowledge. Hi, how are you? Thank you for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. If you are unable to join the chat and you're just listening, you might be listening on your ride home from work. Today is Friday. Friday is what some people call it. So I appreciate that as well. If this is the replay, be sure after tuning in to leave a message in the comment section. Let me know what your thoughts are on this live, on this conversation. Share with us a nugget or two that you received while watching. Let's see who else is walking in. I see the positive pusher is in the building. Thank you for being here, sis. I appreciate you. I really enjoyed your live that you had today. I only was able to see a portion of it, so I have to go back and finish. I was looking at it on the replay. All right, everyone. So I just wanted to come on here and just greet you as you came before introducing my special guest. I'm excited to have him here. These Friday night lives, they really give me life. I have my notebook and my pen so that I can capture some information. I take down notes, and I hope that you do too. This is also a good way to kind of, debrief and relieve yourself after a long week. And I had a very long week. So many things, challenges, successes, just a lot of things all melt and meshed into one. And this is just a way for me to be able to step off from my real life, even though this is my real life too. But it's allowing me to just step off and, really hear another side, to hear someone else's story and share their story with you, looking on in the chat, seeing how you're doing. And, all this just kind of reinvigorate me. And it just kind of is a great way to do it. I'm glad that I decided to do my lives on Friday nights, because what a way to end the week. And I appreciate all of you that are tuned in, that are here live, because you could have been anywhere else on a Friday night, but you said, you know what? I think Coach Sherri goes live at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let me go over there and see what she's talking about tonight. I'm always wanting to bring you new content. I have for guests in the future that are really lining up, and I'm excited to bring the information that they're going to share. And if you know of anyone that also may be a great guest, please leave their name in the description, not the description box, but in the comment section after this live is published, so that I can capture their information, or you can send it over to me on IG at Coach Sherri J, and I will be sure to look into it. And I appreciate you all. Let's see. Everyone is saying hello. Thank you for all for being here again. And the positive pusher is saying, yes, I'm getting ready to drive and listen. Yes, that is the one of the best ways. That's what I do a lot, especially before C19. Oh, I used to listen to so many YouTubers driving on my way home. When I first decided to start building my channel, which was December 2019, and I would be leaving, my office, going to my daughter's basketball games or just wherever. I would always have my computer turned on. I was listening to Promo STK, and she would always have these amazing live streams that were a great networking opportunity. So I will be writing people's names down, channels down, as I was stopped at a red light or just parking, and just really trying to multitask, trying to really grow and develop my channel. And it has really paid off. And now that I'm a little bit more stationary, not commuting as much, and I'm able to have one earplug on, listening and doing my work as I go throughout my day. I see Dawn is in the building. Thank you, Dawn, for being here. Oh, sis, I can't wait till we get all of this taken care of. This is going to be amazing. You guys, I'm really looking into, and I've said it before in my lives, into getting a producer to help me manage my lives and be in the back room, making sure everything is going right. And I'm excited. I'll be introducing my producer in the near future. I know you all are probably like, but you're not even all that big. What's going on? But you know what? You have to prepare for that growth. And it's more being more proactive instead of reactive. Because I can see, and I've seen some live streams where people may have 500, 1,000 people in, and it goes crazy, and it's really challenging. And I want to acknowledge you as much and as often as I can, because like I said, you could have been anywhere. We have what, how many billions of people on YouTube? So I want someone to help me manage that whole situation. So I appreciate it. And I see Taylor's Fire and Smoke Cooking is in the building. Hello, happy Friday to you. Thank you for being here. Thank you all. So I'm going to introduce to you my special guest tonight. And if you saw the thumbnail, that is his book that he has recently published. And his name is Eddie Sanders. And I have known Eddie, I believe we met in 2015. And he has an amazing wife. Her and I were colleagues, and he actually was a colleague as well. But when I first met him, I knew, first of all, he's a man of God and he has a powerful message. Eddie is a man that his word and the things that he has to say, it needs to be heard by the masses, especially our young people. But you know what? As I go through life, as I do training, as I work with people in all ages, all messages are applicable to everyone, because there's always room to grow, to improve, to rebrand yourself. There's always an opportunity to start over. But if you get them young, then they can just stay on that right track and be on that right track. But it's never too late to get on that right track. So Eddie is the CEO of E.A. Sanders Group, and he specializes in leadership, personal and professional development services to businesses, sports teams, organizations, and individuals. He is a minister and currently serves as the director of women's basketball operations at Middle Tennessee University in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And I'm sure I said that name wrong, because it's like a lot of words in one. Murfreesboro, and I'll have him say it better when he comes on. And so I'm excited for him to be here. This is his book. It's called It's Time to Make Your Move, Change Your Thoughts, and Change Your Life. And this book is now available on Amazon. And I have the link in the description box below. So if you're interested, and you should be, and you will be, especially when you hear Eddie's story behind the story. I'm going to tell you, one of the things that attracted me to this book, much like the book that I had with the author last week, Dr. Joyce, is it's an interactive book. It's a story, but he has discussion questions at the end of each chapter. And that makes it just it takes it to another level for me. This is a great book for groups, for organizations, for teams to read through and to really deep dive in the message, in the information that's given. And it's given in a story like way, but it's a real story, and it's applicable to other stories that you may have experienced in your life. So without further ado, but let me see who else may have walked in. I don't want to I see okay, I see Edward Smart is saying hi to Pastor Kim's Corner. So I see you. Hi, Pastor Kim. How are you? All right. Let's see. All right, great. Everyone is speaking. So without further ado, I'm now bringing up Eddie Sanders. And let me add him. Hi, Eddie. How are you?
Fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate you for taking the time out of your busy schedule. I know that you are multitasking as well, and I appreciate you for coming and sharing more about your book. So, Eddie, please, first of all, say Murfreesboro in the right way, so my guests will know that how it's pronounced. How do you
Well,
say
you
it?
you got it really close. You got it close. It's Murfreesboro. So
Okay.
you were close. You did good. You did very good.
Okay, thank you. So, you are in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. However, you and I met in Charlotte, North Carolina, and it's been a few
Absolutely.
years that we've seen each other. Yes,
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's been a minute. It's been quite a while.
it has. It has. And I am so proud that your book has gotten published. I remember when it was in draft form, and you were passionate about the information in this book because it means something to you. It's more than just the words you put on, it's the story behind it. So tell us a little bit about, first of all, the title. It's Time to Make Your Move. How did you come up with this title?
Well, I it was basically I was going through a storm in my life, my wife and I back in 2015. And this particular storm, and I'm not going to tell you what the storm is because I want people to read the book. But we were going through a storm in our lives, my wife and I, when it started, and it was something that I had personally had never been through. My wife had never been through it before, and I started going through mild depression. I had uh, bitterness, I had grief. All of those things were transpiring in my life. And I had to make a decision. Either I could be pitiful or I could be powerful. I knew that I couldn't be both. So I had to decide it's time for me to make a move. So that's where I came up with the title due to the storm that my wife and I were going through in our particular lives back in 2015. It was something that again I'd never been through before, didn't handle it very, very well at all. And based upon that, it caused me to go into some directions, go into a rabbit hole, if you will. And it caused me to just do a lot of reflection, but I wasn't moving in my life. So I had to make a decision. It's time to make your move. So that's where the title came from, due to the storm that my wife and I were going through back in 2015. So this book has really been 5 years in the making. And I'm just excited that it's finally out there. And I hope and pray that based upon this book, that someone will be encouraged, that they'll be motivated, and most importantly, that they will. This book is designed to give someone a call to action. No matter what they're going through in their lives, there is always a call to action, and that starts with a decision. So that decision for me was, okay, it's time to make your move. And based upon that, that's where the title came from.
Wow. Thank you so much for being transparent and authentic with how this title was a reflection on your moment in your life in 2015. um, the fact that you understood that you were going through that a moment, that's abundance intelligence, and that's when you understand, you see it, and you own it. And it sounds like you owned what was happening, and your reaction to it, be it a positive or not a positive reaction, you owned that. But then you decided, it sounds like, to turn it around and be something better and move forward from that and make that change. So a lot of people, especially now, are going through a lot of things, a lot of change, and it's becoming challenging for them to make their move. They don't know where to start. So when you were going through your situation, at what point, or what was that first step like to make that move?
Well, the first step was I had to decide that, okay, what direction am I going to go? And again, all of it starts with a decision, and that's where I came up with the phrase "change your thoughts, change your life." Because if we never change the way we think, our behavior will never change. And it's like the old adage: we'll continue to do the same thing but expect a different result. And that's what I was doing. So I had to decide, okay, I need to change my thought process. And that's where it all began. So in order for me to make that move, I had to change the way I was thinking in my life. And once I really made that decision and decided to do that, then I was able to move forward with based upon the storm that I went through. I was able to move forward, and doors began to open up for me. And not only that, I was able to not only move forward, but able to continue to make those decisions that allow me to make the next move. Because when people make a move in their lives, and when I talk about a move, I'm not necessarily talking about a geographical move. I'm really talking about a mental move. And once that move was made, then I was able to move forward in my life and make the right steps, take the necessary steps in a positive way in order to see a different result. And once that started to happen, then different moves began to transpire throughout the course of my life, even after this event transpired in 2015. And
Wow.
that's what leads me to where I am today. And even as of this very day, I'm still making my move. And as long as we live, we'll continue to make moves in our lives. But those moves have to be in a positive way, in a productive way, in a way that's going to hopefully steer us in the right direction as we go down the path.
Absolutely, absolutely. I am going to take a second. I hear some feedback. Do you have a phone or another opening of this live open to you by any chance?
I don't. I don't. I certainly don't.
Okay. Maybe if let me turn my volume down a little bit. Maybe if you could turn your
I
volume
can
down
turn
a
my
little bit.
volume down a little bit.
Okay. But you're coming over so clear, so I appreciate that. And you guys, we understand that there's a little
Oh,
delay
okay.
on him, but his voice is still coming over so powerful. So Vern's Junk Closet is in the building. Thank you for being here. I see you're speaking to everyone in Rachel's place. Hello. That hood girl to the hood is in the building. Great to see you. Very well spoken, Mr. Sanders, is what she's saying. And I agree with what you have said. That's awesome. Yes, very well spoken. I'm excited to go deeper. I know that Dawn is in the building. Dawn, if you are able to, can you please capture some of these nuggets and put them in the comment? One nugget in particular was where he said, choosing between being pitiful or powerful. If you guys, I really hope you have your pen and paper so you're writing this down. Dawn, if you can type that in the chat, I would really appreciate that. And also the mental move. So many people don't realize that everything that you do starts in your head, and that mental move. What was that mental move like for you? What did that entail?
Well, for me, the mental move was making a change in my thought process. And it came with, and it didn't happen overnight, because a lot of times we feel like that, okay, I'm going to make a change. For instance, people decide to lose weight, and I'll just use that as an example. That doesn't happen overnight. It's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen 2 or 3 days from now. It's something that you have to continue to work at on a daily basis. And it's the thought process that we have within us. And it's very important that not only we have the right thought process, but we have to be careful on who we allow to type on our keyboard. And what I mean by that is we have to be careful on who we allow, who we want to come into our lives and give us advice, because everybody that gives us advice is not rooting for us. Everybody that pats us on the back are not cheering for us. So we have to make a decision
Mhm.
on who we're going to allow to type on our keyboard from a mental perspective, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And you know what? That sounds a lot like Pastor Kim's Corner. She had a Bible study the other night and, was talking about discernment. And so that's basically what that is as well. Everyone thinks that who's in their corner, rah rah, patting them on the back is for them, but you have to have that. Wouldn't you agree, that sense of discernment on whether they are right for you or not? I never heard the phrase about typing on your keyboard though. That that is something that is really interesting to me. Could you elaborate a little bit more on, the typing on the keyboard, and like go a little deeper in not
Okay.
everyone may not be there for you.
Absolutely. And what I mean by that is we have all these people, all of these friends and acquaintances in our lives, and they're offering us advice. Well, I think you should do this, or I think you should do that, or I would do this, or I would do that. First of all, we have to look at the credibility of those individuals. And at the credit and their credibility is based on what they do. And it's like what we always say, it's not what people say, it's what people do.
Hmm.
And I always tell folks, I hear what you're saying, but I'm watching what you're doing.
Right.
So those individuals that come into our lives, we can listen to those individuals, but it's a lot like eating fish. And let me tell you what I mean by that. We can listen to individuals and we can hear their advice, but when it comes to eating fish, one of the main things you have to do is you have to pick out the bones. You take what you can use, apply it to your life, and throw the rest in the trash. That's
Hmm.
what I mean by typing on our keyboard. Some people may come into our lives and offer us some great advice, but again, we have to use that like eating fish. Take what you can use, apply it if it's applicable, and then throw the rest of it away. So it's very important that we allow those individuals that come into our lives. We got to make sure that they have our best interest at heart, and we'll know that. And it won't be based on what they say; it'll be based on how they treat us. It'll be based on their behavior, and we know when people are really genuine and true. And that's a decision that I had to make. Even going through our storm with my wife and I, we had to make a decision on who's being authentic and who's being phony. And once we made that decision, then we were able to move forward in our lives and say, okay, I hear what you're saying, but I'm watching what you're doing. So that's what I mean basically in a nutshell when I talk about typing on your keyboard. Just be careful on who you take advice from. And I'm not saying that you don't listen to individuals' advice, but just be careful because everybody is not in your corner. They may appear like they are, but their behavior is going to prove whether they're in your corner or not.
Absolutely, absolutely. Wow, so deep. And I see, let's see, Carolyn Eats All. Hello, welcome to the live. And Edward Smart said, I like the typing on your keyboard analogy. You can talk your way to healthier relationships is in the building. And she has a powerful live in the morning, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And she has a lot of tips, strategies for how to better communicate. Let's see. The Hood Girl to the Hood says, ooh, say that, Mr. Sanders. Be careful who you allow in your personal space. Um, Vern's Junk Closet is saying everyone that's smiling in your face is not your friend. Let's see. Pastor Kim's Corner is saying amen. Yes. And let's see. Dawn says, pick out the bones, take what you can use, apply if applicable, and throw the rest away. Absolutely. You can talk your way to healthier relationship is saying, yes, not everyone is on your team. They're just onlookers. And Pastor Kim's Corner is saying confirmation. Yes, it is confirmation. And I like, to hear what you're saying, but I'm watching what you are doing, because those are two different things. If they're not aligned, if they're not authentic, what a person says and what they do should be aligned. But if it's not, you need to believe what they're doing. Um, I want to talk
Absolutely.
more, right? So I was honored back in 2015, 2016, maybe, when you allowed me to read the draft of your book. Because books are, especially when it's an author who is passionate about what they're writing about. So many people hold it. It's like a precious jewel close to the chest. Um, I want to ask, what made you select me as one of the people to review it, to get an inside look?
Well, we were colleagues, as you said earlier, and I was watching you. I'm a person, I'm something always taught me is to watch people. So I'm a people watcher. I watch and I analyze, and of course that's the psychology background that comes out of me because I watch and I observe, and my wife knew you, and you had credibility. And actually, my wife was the one. I can't take credit for this. My wife was one of the ones that said, "Why don't you let Sherri read a draft of your book?" I said, okay. So actually, that's where the idea came from, and I agreed, simply because of not what you said, but character stuff, your disposition, how you treated other people. So it all goes back to that, and that's what made I know Annette think of you, and that's what made me agree
Oh,
to allow you to read that draft.
thank you. It was my honor to do it. And so, like I said, to see it here and have it in print is amazing. So, I know the purpose of your book. Like when you were writing it, you told me how you wanted it to be received, for teams, for organizations. And can you explain a little bit about the format? Because this is a different type of format for a book. So explain the format, please, to our listeners.
Well, the okay, well, the format, I what I wanted, just didn't want to have a book just to have for people to have something to read. I wanted to be able to have a book, and this goes into the outcome, and I'll go ahead and talk about that. I wanted to have a book where people could read and hopefully make application to see where maybe the book could help them, but then give them a call to action. So
Mhm.
that was my main driver in terms of the outcome, is I wanted to give readers a call to action, not just write a book and say here's a book. And that's what drove me to put the discussion questions at the end. I wanted to have discussion questions at the end of each chapter so people would have an opportunity to reflect on what they've read, to answer the questions, and to see where they may fit in terms of what's been written in that particular chapter. But then also, as I said earlier, and I'll continue to say this, I wanted to have that call to action so people would decide, okay, it's time for me to make a decision in my life. I'm not going to stay where I am. All of us have been through something. Coach
Mhm.
Sherri, you've been through something. The listeners that are listening, and I appreciate you listening and being tonight, all of you have been through something. I've got a story. You've got a story. We all have a story. But we have to realize, and one of the chapters in my book is don't allow your circumstances to determine your outcome. And we shouldn't allow our circumstances, bad circumstances, adversity, we should not allow that to determine our outcome.
Mhm.
So again, it goes back to a decision. Am I going to dwell on my past, or am I going to move forward? One of the chapters in my book is entitled Turn the Page on Your Past. And a lot of people, one of the reasons why a lot of people haven't made their move in their life is because they're still dwelling in the past. You can't steal second base unless you take your foot off first base. Just remember that. You can't steal. We just ended the World Series. We just had the World Series. And I was for the Atlanta Braves, and the Braves got beat by the World Series champion, the Dodgers. But you can't steal second base unless you take your foot off first base. And a
Mm.
lot of people have gotten in adulthood, and guess where they are? They're still on first base.
Yes. Yes. And it's a tangle web that they are weaving there. And that's why when it comes to soft skills and really digging deep with people, I go through the cognitive cycle. And I know you're familiar with the cognitive cycle from a psychology standpoint, where you have your beliefs. Then when you're in stressful
Mhm.
situations, those beliefs will start to come up. and they may or may not even be real to with that situation. And that's a sabotage, because if you react on that, it can make you not even reach your goal because of your outcomes. You might overreact, and that's what's happening. People, they overreact and they just stay there, and it's not fulfilling. Let's see. Ooh, I love that. I hope you guys are writing these nuggets down. Thank you, Vern. Please thumbs up this live. Absolutely. Vern's is saying hallelujah, Eddie Sanders. Absolutely. Carolyn Eats is saying okay. Yes, great wisdom. You can talk your way. And Dawn is saying, that's right. You can't steal second base unless you take the foot off your first base. Yes. And that could be your beliefs. Having your foot staying on first could be your beliefs. It could be your emotions. It could be relationships. Wouldn't you agree that on first base, that you still keeping your foot on that pulse and it's not serving you? Could be so many different things.
Well, mhm,
Just want to read one more. The hood girl to the hood is
okay.
saying, so very true. As long as you continue to look back, you can't make a step forward. So true.
Well,
And
first base is safe. First base is, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, but a lot of people stay on first base in their life because first base is safe. I can stay on first base. I don't have to take a chance on going to second base. Basically,
ooh,
what I mean is I don't have to take a chance on moving forward or making a move in my life. So I'll just stay on first base because it's safe. But we're sabotaging our own lives by staying where we are because we have allowed fear.
mm,
We have allowed fear to paralyze our faith. That's
ooh,
exactly what we have done. We have allowed fear to paralyze us from moving. And when fear paralyzes you from moving, you will stay on first base and you'll make every excuse in the world on why you will not make a move in your life. Well, I'm not old enough. I don't know enough. I'm not educated enough. I'm not pretty enough. I don't have enough friends. I don't make enough money. Examples can go on and on. We're sabotaging ourselves and we become our own worst enemy.
mm. I'm just going to put this up here. It's time to make your move. This is Eddie Sanders' book, you guys. I'm trying to tell you. So you're saying so many powerful things. I really don't even want to reiterate anything that you're saying, because I want it to just land there and stay there, and I want people to hold on to it. So I appreciate you, Dawn, for writing these nuggets in the chat. I really and truly hope you all are writing these nuggets down. Share this information with those in your circle. If you feel like someone needs to be here right now, invite them to this live, share this live so that they can also join in and hear this. You don't have to come out in the bushes, you don't have to necessarily be in the chat. I would love for you to be, but if you're not, that is fine. I just feel like you need to hear this, change your thoughts, change your life. So there is a powerful story, and that was what it really intrigued me, was the story, because it was compelling, it was interesting, it was sports related, it's a great read. I already told my son he's going to read this book and he can't wait. But I want to know, and I'm also going to have my husband read this book. I believe he's going to really enjoy this as well. Please tell, I don't want you to give it all away, because you guys have to go on
Okay.
Amazon and really get this book. You really do. I'm trying to tell you. If you have any groups, especially a males group, a young adult group, a young males group, teenagers that you work with, if you have a team within your organization, and you are looking for some professional development that you can do as a team together, maybe a reading group that you are part of. I'm thinking about when my husband played and the wives, we had Bible study and we read The Power of a Praying Wife and we discussed that. This is a book that you will read, and it's great to read with others, so that you can discuss and go deep with it, how it affects you, what did that mean to you, that chapter. And we talked about this last night in terms of comprehension. Is comprehending what the story is and how relatable it is to you, and how you can make those turns and changes in your life and in your thoughts. So Eddie, can you just kind of give us an overview? I don't want you to give it out, but an overview of the story that's behind this story.
Well, there is a story, and it's a sport. You're talking about the sports piece. Is that what you're talking
Yes.
about?
Yes.
Okay, there is a story, and again, you have to get the book to see the story or read about the story. But there's a true story that happened to me and to us, our football team, um, when I was in high school. And based upon that story, and a lot of what we went through in that particular story or in that episode has a lot to do with the man that I am today. Because to go through adversity at the age of 16 and 16, 17-year old young men going through the
Yeah.
adverse time that we went through, taught us a lot as young men, and it has helped me throughout the course of my lifespan to be the man that I am today. And what I love about this story is it's a true story. I'm not going to elaborate because I want people to get the book. So um, it's a true story, and I've had a lot of people to read it, and a lot of people can't believe that it actually happened. I say, well, this is a true story. It's not made up. It's an actually true story. It's a sports story, and it's something that a lot of people from my hometown still remember. They still talk about it to this very day. And it happened in 1985 when I was in high school, which was many moons ago. But people that lived there during that particular time, even today, they still talk about what happened uh, to our team. And again, I want you to read the book and to see what happened. But going through that, it helped us as young men to be better men as we become adults. And even to this day, I still talk to a lot of my teammates to this very day, and we still talk about what happened to us some 30 plus years ago. We talk about it, and we talk about how it shaped our lives in a lot of ways. So I would encourage you to get the book, and it is a part of the book. It is when I was in high school, young men going through something like that. Young men should never have to go through anything like that, but we did. So get the book, read it, and tell me what you think. But it really it has really shaped me to be the man that I am today. And we go through things for a reason. Things don't happen arbitrarily. We go through things that happen in our lives. Sometimes we ask the question, why me? Why do I have to go through this? Well, we go through things for a reason. We really do. And hopefully, after we go through those things, it'll make us stronger. And I know through the adverse times that my wife and I have had that we talk about in this book, it has definitely made our marriage stronger. It has made me stronger as a man. It has made my wife stronger. It has made both of us stronger, and also it has made us appreciate life even more, life, God, family, and life even more in that order. So it has helped us appreciate that. So adverse times, none of us are immune through adversity. So we have to realize that as we go through this life, and things are going to happen. It's not what happens to you; it's how you handle it. And if Sherri, if you don't mind me going back to the beginning of what happened to us in 2015, as I said earlier, for the listeners that have just tuned in, one of the issues that I had personally was I did not handle it very well. Why? Well, one of the reasons why is because I'd never been through anything like that before. And my reaction and my response was not a positive one, but I did not allow that to continue to cause me to be in a pity party, so to speak. So, as I said earlier, I had to make a decision. Either I was going to be powerful, or I was going to continue to be pitiful and have the woe is me attitude. I had to make a move. And I'm thankful to this very day that I did make that move. And I'm so much better for making that move.
Yes. Absolutely. And I'm glad that you touched on the adversary times that we have in our life, because we're all going through it right now. And we are going to all have to make that decision on whether to be pitiful or become more powerful. And I would love for you
Right.
to talk more about that, because when you said change your thoughts, I want to know some of the like self-talk that you had, some of the your background noise, like how did you adjust that? Because that is something that really gets a person can look one way on the outside, but if their inside thoughts are beating them up, how did you combat those inside thoughts. And I first want to go, before you answer that, to the chat to see what everyone is saying. I see a lot of people have entered the building, so I want to make sure I catch them. I need to maybe learn how to put a place mark or something on here. So yes. So you can talk your way to healthier relationships and saying, yes, speak the truth. It's nothing but fear. The positive pusher says, yes, fear and worry will paralyze you from moving forward. And oh, hi, Tanya Lambert. Tanya Lambert is saying that makes a lot of sense. Great truth. You can talk. Everyone is speaking. All right, great. I'm glad you all are speaking. Perfect. Um, And so Tanya Lambert is saying, hi, this is great. I'm going to see if I can get an audio version. Is there an audio version of your book?
There is an ebook. I do
Okay.
have an ebook, but there's not an audio version. It's not yet.
Okay. All right. Vernell Livingston is saying, who was your inspiration that pushed you out of your rabbit hole after God? That's a great question. So that's our question to you, Eddie.
Okay. That is an awesome question. And in the book, I
Mm-hmm.
reveal that, and I don't mind sharing. There were two men, um, two preachers, two minister friends of mine that really picked me up out of the hole, and they really helped guided me and nurtured me through this process, or through the process that I was going through. And I really appreciate these two men to this very day. They're still friends of mine, and I really appreciate them. So it took two of these men. One lives in Arkansas, and one lives in North Carolina. And of course, I was living in North Carolina at the time. But these two individuals, they stayed on me. And what I mean by staying on me is they continued to encourage me, and I knew they had my best interest at heart. And they continued to push me, and they continued to give me the confidence to know that everything is going to be fine, and everything is going to be okay. And to go back to your first question, one of the things that I did, and I think the question that you asked me is, what did I do? I can't remember what the question was, but one of the things that I did is my prayer life had to change. My prayer
Mm-hmm.
life really had to change. And I don't hide my faith. I'm a man of faith, and I don't hide that. But my prayer life really had to change. And instead of telling God what I wanted, I needed to ask God what I wanted instead of telling God what I wanted. And
Mm-hmm.
my prayer life had to change. And once that adjusted and once that changed, then doors begin to open in my life, because sometimes we get to the point where we expect something, and when we don't receive it, then we want to blame somebody. And that's what I was starting to do, and that wasn't the right way to handle it. So to answer the question that Burnell asked, there were two preacher friends of mine that are really good of mine to this very day. um, in fact, I give them an acknowledgement in the book that helped guided me through this process, and I thank God for them, because if it had not been for them, who knows what would have happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I want people to understand that depression is real. And I went through a mild depression. It's real. It's real. And don't let anybody tell you that it's not, because I was feeling things that I had never felt before. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't want to be bothered with anybody. There were times where I didn't even want to talk to my wife, and that's not a good thing. So, as I said, there were some things that I just did not handle very well. But through this process, I thank God for these two men that really helped me and guided me through this process. So, hopefully, this book, again, another outcome, this book will help someone that's going through something in their life. Maybe they're going through a mild depression. Maybe they're going through some adversity. Maybe they came up in some bad circumstances. We may grow up in bad circumstances, but that doesn't mean that we have to stay there. We may grow up in a bad neighborhood, but that doesn't mean that we should succumb to the environment of the neighborhood. We can move forward. We can make a move, and it's okay to move. Making a move, don't be ashamed to make a move. I think a lot of us, again, it goes back to the fear factor of those excuses that we make. Well, if I make a move, I'll get laughed at, or if I make a move, then someone won't like it. One of the things that I talk about, and I'm a talker, as you can see.
I love
One of the
it.
things that I talk about in this one of the things that I talk about in this book is we should not live according to other people's expectations.
Yeah.
Let me say that again. We should not live. I'm not going to live my life according to Coach Sherri's expectations.
Right.
And what a lot of us do, we live our lives based on what somebody else expects us to do. I want you to let that, I want the listeners to let that sink in for just a minute. And we make a huge mistake by living our lives based on other people's expectations. And when we do that, we end up to the road to nowhere.
Mhm.
And I always talk about the road to nowhere. You know, I use the analogy, if we're driving down the road, and there have been several times where my wife and I have gotten lost driving. I like to give analogies. And one time we were driving down the road, and in fact, I think it was one Christmas, we were going to Kentucky to my aunt's house, and we were driving, and my wife said, "Honey, did you miss the exit?" I said, "No, I didn't miss the exit. I'm still driving 24. I'm going 24 west, and I'm driving another 10 or 15 minutes." She said, "Honey, do you think we need to turn around?" I'm like, "No, we'll get to the exit in just a minute." So I drive another 10 and 15 minutes, and then I finally realized that I was going in the wrong direction. Now I have two choices. I can continue to drive in the wrong direction on 24 West and end up in St. Louis, Missouri, or I can get off the exit, turn around, and go in the proper direction. Here's the point. A lot of us in our lives, we're driving the car and we think we're going in the right direction. Someone's trying to tell us, "Hey, you're on the road to nowhere. You're not going in the right direction. I know where I'm going. Leave me alone." And then we end up crashing. Our life ends up crashing, all because we feel like that we're living. Not only are we living according to someone else's expectations, we took it upon ourselves we felt like that we were going in the right direction, but in reality, we were on the road to nowhere. So what
Mm.
do we have to do? It's real simple. It's real simple. You get off the exit, turn around, and go in the right direction. And that's what we have to do in our lives. That's a part of making a move. Start going in the right direction.
Wow.
And until we do that, we're going to still be on that road to nowhere. Well, I'm driving. At least I'm driving. I'm going somewhere, but you're on the road to know. You're driving, but you don't know where you're going. And that's what happened to my wife and I. And I have to admit, I made the mistake. I passed the exit. We had to go 30 minutes out of the way. And it took me going 30 minutes out of the way and burning extra gas to realize I was going in the wrong direction. In life, we do that as well. We do that as well. What's the analogy, Eddie? Part of that analogy is we make a move, but we made the wrong move.
Mm.
The wrong move. But even when we make the wrong move, okay, admit that you made the wrong move. Folks, it's okay to make mistakes. I've made them in my life. I've made them more times than I can count. But here's the bigger person. The bigger person will say, "I made a mistake."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you make a mistake, what are you going to do about it? You turn around and you go in another direction. Don't say I made a mistake, but you keep going down the road to nowhere. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
I'm done. I'm done for right now. I've said enough for this segment. I'm done
For
anyway.
for this for a second. Not you're not done. Let's see. That was awesome. That was dynamic. I'm telling you, you had so many great nuggets. I love the analogies. That's how you can see how applicable it is, and it makes it real for everyone. Just to say it is saying it, but to show like this is what I mean by that is amazing. Vernell is saying, "Thank you for all for being here." Yes, I do appreciate each and every one of you. Minister of Music Terrence Trower is here, and Minister of Music, somehow I need to connect you and Eddie Sanders together because he is powerful and you're doing great things. And I believe that you all would be wonderful together. So somehow I need to connect the two of you.
Okay.
He's saying hello to everyone. And yes, he's saying hello. Let me see. Vernell is saying, is it based? Okay, so she's asking about your book. Is it based on the movie that was a football one with Denzel Washington? Is it similar to that? Are you familiar with that movie, the movie Titan?
I'm very, very familiar with that movie. In fact, I've watched that movie several times. The movie is not similar to that,
Mm-mm.
but it is based on our high school football team, and that's all
Mm-hmm.
I'll share. But it's
Yes.
not based on Remember the Titans.
Right. Right. Let's see. You're welcome, Minister. You can talk your way to healthier relationships. She's saying, I am well. Oh, she's saying hello. Um, oh, see, it jumped. Uh, uh, let me see. I apologize. Okay, so Verns is
That's
saying
okay.
so true. So true. It is not what happens to you, it is how you handle it. Absolutely. And you can talk your way to healthier relationships is saying that she likes um powerful or pitiful. And Hood Girl to the Hood is saying, I stand in agreement with all you are saying, Mr. Sanders. Such wonderful wisdom. Absolutely such wonderful. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Yes. So Pastor Kim, we have like a little bit of a delay as well. We tried to fix it prior to the show, but I feel like his voice is still coming over so powerful. I hope it's the background noise isn't too overbearing. Tanya Lambert is saying, you never know what effect something that you say or that you go through will help someone else, even if you don't know that person. Yeah, that's why it's important to share stories. That's why I love YouTube. And I am trying to get Eddie to come on YouTube because you just never know how your story is going to hit someone, how your testimony is going to affect someone. And with this huge platform, you can come on and you have so much wisdom, so many things that you can share and put out there and attract people that are really seeking that great advice, especially from a man of color, from a man of color that has been through, overcame, and is, on the other side of things and can really be very beneficial as a mentor. You can talk your way said, at this stage in your life, what aspirations do you still have? That's a great question.
That is a great question. You want me to answer that?
Yes.
Okay, that's a great question, and I appreciate the question. Well, at this stage in my life, one of my goals is that I'm working on another book. At this time, now that I have this book out, I'm working on another book, and I still want to continue to be an example to young men. One of the things that I really believe in is mentoring young men and young women to be the best that they can be because they're our future, and I want to continue to be that example. That not based on what I say, but based on what I do. So my aspiration is continue to be a leader, continue to lead in a positive way in my community, to be a leader where I work, and continue just to be an example to others that are watching. Because we have, as we go through this life, we have to realize that all of us are leaders, whether negatively or positively. So my aspiration is continue to be a leader where I go to church, my wife and I, in my community, where I work, and make sure that I continue to lead and be an example for the young men and young women that will be coming behind me and that'll be taking my place one day. That's my aspiration because one of these days I'm going to be gone. I'm thankful that I don't mind sharing my age. I'm thankful that I'm 52 years old, and I hope that I have a lot of life left in me. But there's someone else that's going to be coming behind me, and I hope, trust, and pray that I can continue to be the type of leader that someone will look at and say, I really appreciate him and what he's trying to do. He's trying to lead people in the right way. Because one thing that I've always strived to do is I want to be an example for young people. I want your child to be able to look at me and see a positive example. I think it's very, very important, based particularly the society that we have now. We need examples to look at, and one of my main aspirations is for your children and your grandchildren to continue to see me and others as an example, a positive example.
Exactly. Absolutely. I see Tanya Lambert is also saying many of us know what depression and mental illness feels like. Praise God you had others to help you through. Yes. Amen. Dawn is saying, here's a nugget. We should not live according to others' expectations. No, we shouldn't. Please, if you have your pen and paper and you didn't write that down already, please write that down. And Minister of Music, Terrence, is saying, wow, great word. Absolutely. And Vern's Junk Closet is saying, not me. I can't. I am a leader, not a follower. I will tell someone, no, I am not following you real fast. Yes. And you know what? Sometimes it's not bad to follow some people. I mean, to get where you have to go before you get there, you might have to learn some things along the way. But within that, still be a leader within your own right. Pastor Kim's Corner is saying, I know that's right, and it starts from childhood, living our lives based upon others' expectations. Yeah, and there's so many people that I coach who are in there between 45 and 65 who are at a place in life where all their life they've been doing what others wanted them to do and not what they wanted to do. And they've
Absolutely.
been miserable.
Mhm.
And now they're at a state where they can make a decision on what it is that they want to do. They just don't know what it is. It's been so long, they forgot. They forgot what really brings them joy.
Mhm.
That's why you really have to appreciate everything every day and remember what brings you joy. Sometimes you do have to do what you have to do, but when you get to that point when you can do what you want to do, have it very clear. Always know what that is. If you have to write it down over and over and over again just to know, don't ever forget it. And I know it's so easy to forget as you live life, but that's a deep dive that we have to do when that's the situation. That hood girl to the hood is saying, I have always been a leader. If you don't know, you can end up anywhere. Yes. You can talk your way to healthier relationships. Is saying, when we can let go of our pride, we can accomplish so much more. Absolutely. Vernell is saying,
Absolutely.
put your expectations on yourself and not others. And Carolyn Eats All says he makes a great life coach. Yes, and he's a motivator. He's a motivational speaker. So he definitely has great things to say, great wisdom. Yes, Tanya. Um, you can talk your way, says Mike Drop. He said, I'm done. I've said enough. Yes, remember the Titans, Dawn. And hi, Yeast Belize. Welcome to the live. Thank you for being here. Minister of Music Terrence is saying, great word, words of wisdom. Yes, I see everyone is speaking. I appreciate all of you for being here. All of us are leaders, whether negatively or positively. So true. Yes. And Tanya, and if those ones that are negative in their leading, if they could just turn it around and be positive, when we think about the students in school that aren't doing well, maybe they're gangbangers or they have other situations and they're leading people, but leading them down doing the wrong thing. If you can switch them and get them to lead in a more positive way, that's a game changer. Tanya is saying, I think one of the most difficult lessons I've had to learn is I am not responsible for other people's happiness. No, you are not. You have no control of what
That's
other
great.
people
That's
say,
great.
do, or think, right? You can only control yourself. Before I answer your next question, I want to read the excerpt on the back of your book. And while I'm doing that,
Okay.
for those who are in the live, if what Eddie Sanders is saying is resonating with you, please put a red heart in the chat box so that he can see that. Put a red heart in the chat box if what he is saying is resonating with you, if you have received some nuggets, if you've had some moments during this live so far, please put a red heart in the chat. So on the back of the book, it says, are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? Are you ready to strive for something different in life? If you answered yes to these two questions, then this book is for you. What holds you hostage from pursuing your dreams? If you have decided that the path that you are traveling on is leading you nowhere, then how do you find the right path? It's an inside job. That's right. It starts with changing your mind and believing that you can move forward in your life. It's time to make your move. Is designed to inspire, encourage, and motivate you to be courageous and take those first steps to change your life. Let's get started. And so that's what this book is all about. I I'm excited. I know that you have talked to different organizations and different teams and things of that nature. Have you introduced this book to any of them?
Not as of yet. I have not, but I'm looking forward to be able to do that in the near future because, as I said, I want this book to be able to resonate with individuals as well as sports teams. And again, I don't want people to read it
Yes.
and then put it down. I want people to read it and have a call to action.
Mm-hmm.
I want it to be able to motivate them to say, okay, what am I going to do? And again, it goes back to a decision. Sherry, there's three types of people in the world. Three types of people, and these three types of people you might want to write down. There are
Yes.
three types of people in the world. You have people that make things happen, and I'll go back and elaborate on those. You have people that make things happen, number one. Number two, you have people that watch things happen. So, number one, you have people that make things happen. Number two, you have those that watch things happen. And number three, you have those that sit back and say, what happened? So you have those that make things happen. Number one, who are those type of people? Those type of people are those that are going to make their move. You're going to make your move because you're going to make things happen. You're not going to make excuses. You're not going to blame your issues or your faults or your fallacies on anyone else. You're going to make things happen in your life. When adversity comes, you're going to see, okay, this is how I'm going to handle this. You're going to make things happen, and you're not going to blame someone when things don't turn out the way you want it to turn out. You make things happen. Number two, you have those that sit back and watch things happen. Who are those type of people? Those type of people are not going to do anything. Those type of people are what I call window people. You have window people and mirror people. Okay, and this is a point within a point. Window people are really good at looking out the window at everybody else and making judgments on everybody else. They look out the window and they make judgments. They say, well, she ought to be doing this. He ought to be doing that. Why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? Those are window people. They sit back and watch everybody else. But then you have those that are mirror people. Who are mirror people? When you look in the mirror, who do you get? What's the reflection? Reflection is of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we don't, what's your point? The point is we don't want to be window people. We
Mm-mm.
don't want to be people that sit back and look out and make judgments on everybody else, but we refuse to look at ourselves and make the changes that we need to make. So you have people that make things happen. You have people that watch things happen. And then thirdly, you have those that sit back and say, well, what happened? Who are those type of people? Those type of people, Coach Sherri, they have no idea what's going on. They're just swinging in the wind, floating through life. They have no clue as to what's going on around them, in front of them, or beside them. Because the question they ask is, well, what happened? They're not in tune to what's going on around them. So they're just basically going through life and just say, well, what happened? So those are the three types of people. And the point I'm making in all this and in this particular dialogue is what type of person are you going to be? Are you going to be a person that makes your move? That's a person that makes things happen. Or are you going to be a person that sit back and watch things happen? Are you going to sit back and be in judgment of everyone else? Or are you going to be a person that just doesn't really have a clue to what's going on and say, well, what happened? So those are your three types of people that we have. And hopefully, this book will
Yes.
motivate you to be a person that makes things happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That was a great way to put it. And I hear feedback on my end, but we're gonna keep going. That was a great way to put it. The three types of people: people that make things happen, watch things happen, and say, "What happened?" We all probably can identify those three types of people in our lives. But the real question is, which person are you? That's the real question. All right, let's see. Tanya is saying, it makes me think of the tough time the town of Marshall went through when they lost the entire football team in a plane crash. Mm. Yeah, are you familiar with that story?
I'm very
Have you?
familiar with that story. Very, very familiar with that story.
Mm-hmm.
Very familiar with that story. But the story in my book is not similar to that story.
Mm-mm. Let's see. Thank you, Vern, for asking everyone to please thumbs up this live. And I see the red hearts. That means this is really resonating with you. And Tanya is saying, sir, you are well spoken and are helping many others. God bless you. Amen. Edward
Thank you.
Smart, great
Thank you.
motivational talk. Thank you, Mr. Sanders. That hood girl to the hood
Thank
says,
you.
wow, on the three kinds of people. Oh, my. So true. Yes. Welcome to the Sela channel. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. And Yeast Believes is saying three types of people. One, make things happen. Two, watch things happen. And number three, sit back and say, what happened? Yes, those are the three types. Absolutely. And welcome to the Selah channel is saying hello to everyone. Dawn also put down those three types of people. Vern is saying, speak. And you can talk your way to healthier relationships is saying, what does he do to keep himself? This is your question. What do you do to keep yourself motivated when the questions of, am I making a difference, creep into your thoughts?
That's an awesome question. That is an awesome question. And the way I what I do is I self analyze and self assess myself every day at the end of every single day. At the end of the day, I look in the mirror and I ask myself, have I made a difference in the life of someone else? And I look back over the course of my day, and there have been days where I didn't feel like that I did what I needed to do to make a difference. And I strove to set a goal to say, okay, if the Lord would have blessed me to see tomorrow I'm going to do more to try to make a difference in someone else's life. But that is an excellent, excellent question. But that's what I do, and I have to do that every single day. And I would encourage the listeners and the viewers to do that as well. At the end of every single day, you have one of the hardest things to do is assess yourself. It's easy to look out the window at everyone else, but one of the hardest things for us to do is to assess ourselves, and that's something that I have strove or strive, excuse me, to do on a daily basis. At the end of the day, is self-assess. Did I make a difference in someone's life? Did I say something to offend someone? If I did, I need to apologize to them when I get that opportunity. So self-assessment, because I want to be able to make a difference in a positive way. You always have naysayers. You're always going to have those that say, well, he's trying to impress. Oh, again, I'm not living according to anyone's expectations. There's one person I'm trying to please, and of course we all know who that is. That's God himself. I'm not trying to please anyone else. And well, two people, God first and then my wife. As long as those two are pleased, I'm not worried about what anyone says. So self-assessment is very, very important. And hopefully your question, hopefully I've answered your question in terms of what you asked, is I have to look back over the course of my day and say, okay, did I make a difference in someone's life? What did I do today? How did I impact this person's life today? People that I encounter on a daily basis, how did I impact their life in a positive way? And once I do that, there's some days I miss the mark. I miss the mark, and we'll miss the mark. None of us are perfect. Some days I miss the mark in doing that. Well, how do you fix that when that happens? How do I fix that? Next day I try to do better.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great way to put it. And I needed to hear that as well. Um, okay, so Dawn is asking everyone from those three, which person are you? That's a self-reflection. And I think we all need to go into that with the three types of people. Make things happen, watch things happen, or just sitting back saying, what happened? Think about which person you are. The hood girl to the hood says, I ask myself the very same question. That is what we are supposed to do. Yes. Welcome to the Sela channel says, makes me wonder at Coach Sherri. And often as we look on the mirror, we need to make it happen. Great topic. We will never know the lives we are impacting. Absolutely not. We won't ever know. The positive pusher says, yes, self assessments are so important. And you can talk your way to the healthier relationships, which is the one, her name is Ruth, that asked the previous question. She says, I love those answers. Thank you for answering. Yes, absolutely.
Welcome.
Everyone, for those of you who are just tuning in, this is Real Talk with Coach Sherri. This is my special guest, Eddie Sanders, and he is the author of It's Time to Make Your Move, Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life. I'm trying to make sure I get it. And it is available on Amazon. And I have the link to the Amazon page where you can make this purchase in the description box below. I'm not going to let my son and husband read this one. I have to get them their own. And I'm going to make it into a Christmas gift. It's going to be one of their Christmas gifts. And I actually I'm going to give it to all of my kids. I'm gonna give it to my daughters as well, because it's not gender specific. It's not just for men. It's not just for women. It's not just for youth. It's for people of all ages, all genders. And I want my whole family to deep dive into this, because this will make great dinner time talk. Just lounging around, we can all discuss different aspects of this book. And I have a bunch of other places that I'm going to recommend this, especially I'm thinking um, for former athletes who are, sometimes we think going through something is, something so terrible, so tragic or whatever, but it could be going from one reality to another. And that could be for professional athletes. It could be for people in the military. You are in one reality, and when you retire, you are in a whole nother reality. And that can be challenging. And you may not know, like, how to move forward, how to go through, how to navigate. And I believe that this book, It's Time to Make Your Move, it will be very beneficial in making that type of transition. So many people think it's when you have, been in the runt of it all and everything, but it could be, it doesn't have to be that. It could just really be a change of life. It could be someone who's newly retired, even just from a 30-year career, 25-year career, anything. It's time to make your move, no matter what stage you are in life, no matter what age you are in life. It's time to make that move. It could be with the relationship, someone who was having challenges in the relationship, and they maybe recorrected it, or or trying to recorrect. This would be a good book to have as a companion, to kind of go over and deep dive with that. So I like the fact that, upon writing this book, you wanted to have actionable steps. I don't think a lot of authors necessarily start writing a book with the purpose of having action steps. What made you decide or determine that, what, I want this book to have action steps involved with it?
Well, one of the reasons why I wanted to have action steps is because, as I said earlier, I just didn't want it to be a book for someone just to read and not have a
Mm-hmm.
call to action. I really believe that if we're going to read a book, there needs to be a call to action. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what prompted me to put the discussion questions in there to help my readers have a call to action. And in our lives, I think everything that we do needs to have a call to action, because
Mm-hmm.
otherwise we're just spinning our wheels. We're just going through the motions, and we don't want to live life just going through the motions. So many people, they live their lives just going through the motions, just living every day without a purpose. So I wanted the book to have a purpose, and that purpose is, okay, what's going to be the call to action after you read this book? Are you just going to read it and say, well, this was a nice book, it was encouraging, it was motivating, and not have a call to action? Because after you read this book, everyone that reads this book ought to have a call to action to say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And put pen to paper and write down, okay, this is the move that I'm going to make. Here, set some
Yes.
goals. Goals are very, very important. And once you set those goals, make sure they're reachable and attainable.
Mm-hmm.
And once you set those goals, go after those goals, reach those goals, accomplish those goals. That will continue to motivate you when you have those goals set. That's a part of that call to action, because if I have just written a book just to say, well, that's a nice story, but there's no call to action, that I wouldn't have accomplished what I wanted to have accomplished by writing the book, other than, well, it's a nice story. And that's not the goal that I wanted to have.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And the story is very compelling. And so it's really interesting that you were able to want to take it to a whole nother place. So I want to wait, let me go back into the chat again. And Vern's junk closet is saying, you will know when they tell you that you changed their life. And it is an amazing feeling. Yeah, sometimes you will be told that you changed someone's life, but sometimes not always. Sometimes it's by their actions, and that, wow, I had, a input into that. And Verns is also saying, go for it no matter the age. You can always start again. Absolutely. Rebranding is possible all the time. So I want to go forward and talk about networking and the power of networking and the importance of staying connected. So, like I said, you and I met in 2015, and you were on my blog talk radio show. Was that 2016?
I think it was 2016. It was.
Okay. And here we are 4 years later, at least in 2020. And we hadn't seen each other or spoken since 2016, I want to say, right? Wouldn't, because you were in Charlotte, now you're in Tennessee. I didn't even know that. But
Absolutely. I don't think you knew.
right. But because I feel we both had an impact on each other's life, even though it was brief, I think that has helped. And part of that is with networking. And where you are now in the position that you are in, that was a long relationship, and it was because of networking. So can you go into what your current role is and how powerful developing relationships that are meaningful and lasting has assisted you in this?
Well, that's a great question, and I appreciate you asking the question. The role I'm in now, the coach that I work for now, I actually met him, and I want everyone to listen to this very, very carefully. I actually, the gentleman or the coach that I work for now, my boss, I met him in 1994.
Mhm.
1994. It was in Shelbyville, Tennessee. I was the assistant boys basketball coach at a high school there in Shelbyville, and for now he's head coach. So we were colleagues. Uh, he followed our program, and of course we followed their program. They had a very successful girls program there at Shelbyville Central High School. So that's where we met all the way back in 1994. I taught at this particular school for 3 years, and after 3 years, I moved on. But even after I moved on after 97, he and I still kept in touch. I kept in touch with him. I kept in touch with his family, his sons, and we just always continue to keep in touch. As time passed on, he got the head coach, head women's job at Middle Tennessee State University. We still kept in touch at that particular time. We still continued that relationship. Um, the school where he coaches at Middle Tennessee State University, where I presently work now, Charlotte, the UNC Charlotte, they would always come to Charlotte and play UNC Charlotte in women's basketball. In fact, UNC Charlotte and Middle Tennessee State University are in the same conference. So they would come to Charlotte once a year. So when they would come to Charlotte, I would always text him and ask him, could I come watch him practice? And of course, he was always so gracious to let me come and watch him practice. And again, that relationship continued. And happened was a position on his staff came open in 2019. And it just so happened that he thought of me. I applied for the job. I got the interview for the job. And well, let me back up for just a minute. My wife and I, and we talk about this in the book. My wife and I prayed that God would open up a door for us to move back to Tennessee. And this all is going to come together, Coach Sherri. Just bear with me for just a minute. It's all coming together. But we had prayed that God would open up a door for us to move back to Tennessee. Why Tennessee? Tennessee's home. Our family's here. My wife's sisters are here. Her in-laws, or my in-laws, her parents live about 35, 40 minutes from here. My mother lives about 2.5 hours from here. We're Tennessee natives. My wife is an alum of Middle Tennessee State University. So we prayed that God would open up a door. We didn't know where the door was going to come. We had no idea where God was going to open this door. But we prayed for about 2 or 3 years that God would open up a door because nothing was really keeping us in North Carolina. So we were ready to come back home. We have aging parents. My mother's aging. My wife's parents are aging. And we didn't know what the door was going to open. We just prayed that God would open up a door. And this was something that I never saw coming. I never saw it coming. And fast forward, a position on his staff came open, and it was a staff position called the coordinator of women's basketball operations and player development. And I applied for the position. I talked with Coach Rick Insell about it. That's his name. It's a Hall of Fame coach, a class act who I love working for. And he and I talked. He interviewed me during the conversation, what the expectations of the job were, and it was almost unbelievable that the job came open, that I applied, and I wasn't guaranteed that I was going to get the job, because there were a lot of other individuals that were qualified and that have been in that position at other schools. But just so happened, God opened up a door. He opened up that door, and I was hired on in August of 2019. The Lord answered our prayer, and he answered our prayer, and I believe, based on that relationship that I had started back in 1994, I work for that gentleman today. Rick Insell is his name, a very prominent women's basketball coach in Division I basketball. Someone that I've known for a very long time. I've known his family, great family, great coach. That's who I work for. My position entails care of logistics, and what I do is, it's not a coaching position, but it's a position where I take care of all the travel arrangements, whether flights, buses. I feed the team when it's time to eat. I take care of all the logistics when we have to be transported from the bus or from our school to the airport. I make sure that the kids are in class, so I do class checks throughout the course of the day. So, and any other duties that are assigned. So it's basically handling logistics. It's all the behind the scenes things that people don't see, which is a very important position. It's a labor of love, is a position that I enjoy. But I believe that one of the reasons why, well, two reasons why I got the position is of course, God put it on his heart, and number two, it had to do with a networking relationship that I continued to cultivate since 1994. And I
Yes.
talk about that. I do talk about it.
And that's the key, is that networking and nurturing those relationships. You just never know where it will take you, be it a long-term relationship from years and years, or even a short-term relationship. You just never know. And I applaud you, and congratulations on that amazing position. I know that you are a blessing to that team, absolutely. And let's see, going down here. Tanya Lambert says, "Do you keep a journal, sir? And if so, how do you think it has helped you?"
I do keep a journal, and it helps me because I'm able to go back and reflect on some things that I said, some of the things that I have done, and it's really helped me in terms of reflection and assessment. Those would be the two words. Those would be the ways that I could answer that question: is reflection and self-assessment. Because, as I said earlier, self-assessment is very important. And if you don't write things down, you're not able to go back and assess on, what you did, what you said, how your day went, and so forth. So I think that's very important. So reflection and self-assessment.
Absolutely. Journals are very powerful. And sincerely yours, Nadia A is in the building. Hello, welcome to the live. Thank you so much for being here. Let's see. And she's saying hello to everyone in the chat. I see everyone is speaking. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. So once again, I want you to just say, for those who may have come in late, why do you think this book is important for everyone to have, to not only have, but to read, not only to read, but to write in, to deep dive in, to discuss with those in their circles? Why do you think this book, and I mean, you have quotes in here by Jim Rohn, the chapters, this chapter, Crossroads, and I know that chapter 8, you have a whole article that was written about that situation, your discussion questions. Why, again, please let us know. Because that's the thing, people can get a book, yeah, but I know, as an author, you really want people to utilize the book. You want them to read the book. You want them to appreciate the book, because every author, no matter what type of book they've written, have put a lot of work into it, a lot of thought into it. But for you, why should people buy your book?
Well, if you're looking for change, if you're looking for change in a positive way, if you're looking to be motivated, encouraged, inspired, particularly based on the climate that we're in right now in 2020. If you're really looking to move forward in your life in a positive way, this is really for you. Now, if you're not looking to assess yourself, if you're not wanting to um, make a move, then well, let me spin it this way. If you're looking for change in your life, if you're looking to move forward in a positive way, if you're looking to really look in the mirror and assess yourself to see, am I really doing the things that I know I need to be doing, then this book is for you. And I say that because sometimes we kid ourselves. We kid ourselves and we feel like, and we trick ourselves to thinking that we're okay. We trick ourselves. Yeah, well, I'm okay. I can read, something that can encourage me and inspire me. Well, this book again is a call to action. It's a
Mhm.
call to action for you to make a decision that, okay, it's time for me to make a move. Because again, here's another quote. If nothing changes, nothing changes. If nothing changes, nothing changes. And that's one of the chapters in the book. If nothing changes, nothing changes. I want that to resonate and crystallize in your mind. So if you really want change, and I'm talking about positive change for the better, this book is for you. It's for you. It's for your family. It's for your spouse if you're married. Uh, this book is for you. If you're around any type of sports team, this book is for them because it's going to help deal with adversity. And again, we all deal with adversity. That's the reason why, or one of the reasons why I wrote this book is because of the adversity that I went through, and also the happy times that I went through. Because I talk about how I met my spouse in this book, and it's a very
Yeah.
compelling story. So, but again, if you're looking for to really move the needle in your life, if that makes sense, because a lot of us, we're content on where we are, but we need to move that needle, and the only way to move that needle is to challenge ourselves and to
Mhm.
say to ourselves and really make that decision that I really want change, positive change for the better. And when that happens, that needle that and I'm when I talk about the needle, I'm talking about the mental needle. It'll start moving in the direction that we want it to in our lives in a positive way. So I would encourage you to purchase this book. If you would like a personalized copy, and what I mean by that, a signed copy, I think there's some information that Coach Sherri has put out for you to send me a post op. That we have a post office box where we can send you a personalized copy of the book, where I'll sign it and personalize it, and I will send it to you. But you can also go on Amazon.com. A lot of people like to do that. You're welcome to do that as well. But again, the most important thing for that I want you to do is everyone needs this book in their hand, not because Eddie Sanders wrote it, but because that it's going to you and inspire you to make positive change in your life, your family's life, in your spiritual life, for the better. That's why I
Absolutely.
think this book is important, and that's why that I think everyone needs to go out and purchase this book. Your friends, your neighbors, your enemies, if you have any, they need to go and purchase this book.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I also have I have Eddie Sanders's email address in the description box below. So if you're interested in having him come
Absolutely.
out and speak to your group, and he could do virtual speaking engagements. If you are looking to get a personalized autographed book, you can hit him up on his email address. Quickly, I'm going to go into the chat again. And while I'm doing this, Eddie, I want you to think of a question that you may have for me. So I see everyone is speaking, and Shades Sade Princess Beneficial Knowledge is saying thank you. And sincerely yours, Nadia A, is speaking to everyone. Thank you. Let's see. Tanya Lambert said, it's like tossing a stone into a pond. It may look the same after, but underneath it has changed. We can be the one changed or the ones doing that change. Yes. Yes. Hi, hi, Sade Princess Beneficial Knowledge. Hello. And Verns is saying, I love the book. Thank you. And Shay Sade Princess is saying, "Oh yes, change is good." So true. The climate is sad. Yes, this climate that we're in right now is so sad. That's why I wanted, it was really important for me to have Eddie come on and really talk and explain what the ins and outs of the whys of the book, because we all need something that's going to motivate us, inspire us, lift us up, bring our energy back up, give us something, give us something more actionable to help us along that way. So it's more than just reading about it, it's doing it too. It's not talk about it, let's be about it. And,
Hmm.
now more than ever, I think these types of books are so, so important. We're in a time where it's our whole entire world, basically, definitely our country, that is experiencing something we've never experienced. And we're experiencing it from the rich to the poor, to the old to the young, and everything in between.
Hmm.
And if you don't take the time out now to self reflect and to really get to understand yourself, self awareness, self management, and understand how and why you need to move forward, then I don't know any other better time. And one of the nuggets that Dawn is saying is, if nothing changes, nothing changes. That is a great nugget. Yes. And you can talk your way to healthier, is saying, great live. I have to run, but this was excellent. Thank you so much for being here, sis. I appreciate you. Let's see. The hood girl to hood. Um, that hood girl to the hood is saying, Eddie Sanders, this was very needed session. Thank you. Bye for now. Thanks, Coach Sherri, for inviting Mr. Sanders today. Absolutely. And
Thank
Dawn
you.
is saying, yes, thank you. And thank you for being here. Dawn is saying, it's sad, but it's an opportunity to see who we are on the other side of it. It is about moving. That's why this book is so timely. Yes, absolutely. And Vern's Junk Closet is saying, I would like to speak with Mr. Eddie Sanders. Okay. And Vern's Junk Closet, she is an amazing YouTuber. She has a huge following. She is considered the YouTube cheerleader. She's inspirational, motivational,
Okay.
and lots of people go to her for strategies on how to develop their YouTube channels, how to keep on developing their YouTube channels as well. So, starting it, but continuing it. And she provides opportunities and platforms and situations to do just that. Yes, absolutely. So, before we close, do you have any questions for me?
One question I have for you is, what was your why of starting this particular? Because I remember the radio show that you did about, was it 4 years ago that I was on? I remember
Yes.
that. What is your why for starting this particular format? What is your why behind starting the format that you have now? What's your why?
Yes, that's a great question. Thank you. So, I have many whys, but the one why that really stands out is the opportunity to empower many people with information. Um, you know, I work with individuals and small groups, and whenever I can expand the number of people that I can reach with new knowledge, because I know knowledge is power. When I can expand that
Hmm.
reach, I take that opportunity. And so for me, the blog radio show was definitely that opportunity. But when I have been on YouTube since 2008, and I watched YouTube channels, and I'm like, wow, I would love to put information on there about how to start your own business, about workforce development opportunities such as apprenticeship programs, internship programs, the importance of resumes and what to put in those resumes, how to answer questions effectively in interviews, how to become more self aware, how to manage that self awareness, how to take back your energy, manage your time, how to achieve that work life balance. All those things will empower people on so many levels. And YouTube is one of the largest platforms out here. And I have the flexibility that I didn't have on the blog radio show. The blog radio show, there were many hosts on my channel, and I had my time slot, I had my day, and because when you were on there towards the end of that hour, I'm like, oh my goodness, I have to have you back because the time is running out. It
Yeah.
didn't allow us to elaborate and really dive deep. And I feel that people want more than just surface knowledge. They want more than just surface information. They want to go deep.
Hmm.
And I know for me, when I'm being educated, I want to have an educator that is telling me from their own perspective, their own experiences. Don't teach me
Hmm.
marketing if you just learned it in a book. Teach me marketing because you actually marketed a business, you actually marketed a company.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You're really teaching me through your own experiences. So what I share is through my own experiences. And even though I'm 51, my experiences expand so far and deep. And it is my pleasure and it's my service as a servant leader to do this. And YouTube is an amazing platform. That's why I'm trying to convince you as well. But that's one of the reasons why. And I have the
Okay,
flexibility. It's
awesome,
not just till Sunday. I can come every day if I want to. I could be on here all day if I want to. Just it's just
yeah,
so much more flexible. I love it. I
awesome,
love
awesome,
hmm
awesome.
Yes,
Thank you. I appreciate that.
absolutely. Thank you. And I see we have just a few more responses. And Sade Princess of Beneficial Knowledge says, that's so true. Nothing changes if nothing changes. Vern's Junk Closet, thank you all for being here and spending time. Yes. And Eddie Sanders, thank you so much for being my special guest tonight. I appreciate you. You are a man of God. You are doing great things. Great things are yet to come. And I'm excited. And when you get that second book cranked out, you know where you have to come first. You have to come here first. This you definitely. I know
Well,
that the people in the chat in the live, I would name everyone, but it was so many different people in here tonight, and I don't want to miss anyone. And if I did, I just say please charge it to my head, not to my heart. I know there's been a lot of people that didn't join in the chat watching, and I appreciate you too. I want to say hello and to my father because he listens into my YouTube shows as well. And I want to remind everyone that this channel is about workforce development, career readiness, entrepreneurship, and of course, real life, real issues, and real talk. If you're not part of this team, I would love to have you hit that subscribe button and the bell for notification. Please be sure if you didn't hit the like button on your way in, hit it on your way out. And I hope you give it a thumbs up. I appreciate you. Please also, I know that you left comments in the chat, but if you can go after this video is posted and leave a comment, what resonated with you the most from the information that Eddie Sanders shared this evening? I know that I have 2 pages filled and I was random with it. I was just writing, writing, writing. Look at all of notes from this live. I promise you I would encourage you to invest in a composition notebook for my Friday night lives so that you can capture these nuggets. And Verns is saying thank you. Thank you for being here. And you will definitely be back. The door is open. You know where the kitchen is. You can go and get your drink without me getting it for you at this point. Everyone, until we speak again,
thank you.
remember, yes, thank you. Do you have before I close, any last words that you would like to say to the listeners?
Well, the last thing I want to say is it's time to make your move. The question is, are you ready?
Mm, okay, I love it. You can catch his book on Amazon. The link is in the description. His email's in the description. My email's in the description. So any of the above, we are there for you. Remember, practice how you play because
And
when you
also, one more
practice
thing.
hard, go ahead.
Also, one more thing. You can follow me on Facebook. Also, you can follow me on Twitter and also on Instagram as well.
Okay. And what is your name on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram?
On Twitter, it's at Eddie Sanders 60. That's Twitter at Eddie Sanders 60. And Facebook is just Eddie Sanders.
Okay. So I'll put that in the
And Twitter is
description box.
tw- okay, great. That's fine. Great.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And what is Twitter? What is your
Twitter
Twitter
is
handle?
at Eddie
Mhm.
Sanders 60.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. All right. Yes, this has been a blessing. And Vernell just quickly is saying, don't stay stuck in your past. You have to turn your page to move on. You do. So you guys
Absolutely.
practice how you
Absolutely.
play because when you practice really hard, you will always play to win. You can catch me here every Friday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with new guests each week. And you can catch me throughout the week. I just don't have set schedules. I have some lives, I'm gonna have some videos. So just please check out my page. There's content for just about everyone. All right, until we speak again, stay safe. Thank you for tuning in.